I tried Runescape's Fresh Start Worlds for 1 week straight, and today I'll delve into some of the best and worst aspects of the newest RuneScape 3 event. I hope you enjoy. Let's of course start with the release. On the very day that this thing went live, it went anything but smoothly, with characters not being able to choose a Fresh Start World account and people paying for membership of an account that can't be used on Fresh Start World when actually intending to play the Fresh Start World's game mode. Obviously, this was not ideal a scenario, but of course Jagex acted fairly quickly in resolving the issue and unfortunately did have to reset all of the progress of everybody's account on Fresh Start Worlds, because it's not someone's fault if they got locked out from playing the game mode, and yeah, they were then behind on the competitive scene of trying to get to the highest levels, so they started again all over from scratch. Now this definitely led to some complaints and tainted the release, but after a few days of playing, people started realising that actually Fresh Start Worlds was a fantastic addition to the actual core game, even if it means some things are not ideal for your main account when this game mode ends, with impacts to the market potentially, or changes to how the economy is going to work in the main game. We're not entirely sure, and of course that is one issue that we'll be talking about later on, but what makes the new game mode exciting for people and a bit of a relief from the bog standard things in the original RuneScape? So I think one of the key reasons is, of course, by no surprise, the XP rates that you can get in the new game mode, because it's refreshing to be able to have the increased XP to the point where you don't have to focus on specific parts of your game, unless of course you're being super competitive and you're wanting to go for 200 mils as fast as possible compared to other people, or if you're trying to go for high scores. But if you are just a normal RuneScape player that enjoys playing the game, then you're able to do a ton of different training methods that are getting your skills up at a rate where it feels kind of almost easy, and you can kind of just relax a lot and you don't have to focus on a whole ton. And if you're not 4-ticking mining, it doesn't matter anywhere near as much as maybe on the main game, where your XP rate will drop so much. And of course your XP rate will still drop, but it feels like maybe you don't have to constantly be at your computer screen, which is ultimately what RuneScape is. It is a second monitor game. It is not a game that typically requires your entire attention like 100% of the time when playing. It's not what RuneScape is. And so this game mode allows you to do what you like, or facilitates you to be able to do what you like a little bit more than maybe some of the main game can do at this point. And it's also really exciting to actually start from scratch again. I know that this was something that a lot of people were thinking, well, what's the point? Well, actually, it can be super fun to do things that I did like 15 years ago and see how they've changed, because when you're like 15 years ago, I had no idea what to do, because obviously you're a lot younger, you maybe didn't have the resources that you do on YouTube now, because there's so many guides as to pretty much everything that you could possibly want on RuneScape. So you can learn so much, and in that period of time, you know, you can pick all of these interesting methods and you can revisit some of the stuff that you did back in the day, and see how it's different now. So it was really kind of nostalgic, at least for me, to restart and do some of the stuff that, yeah, especially like the combat at lower levels and some of the quests that you might have done 10 years ago or 14 years ago, or maybe if you're an absolute OG veteran like 20 years ago, I don't even know. But you know, there's so much stuff that you can do on RuneScape now, that reliving some of the old stuff is actually kind of fun. And that's kind of what brought me to play Fresh Start Worlds. I've been playing for about a week at this point, as with the title. And I've been able to get to over 1,000 total level. I'm not a super competitive player that's kind of spending 20 hours a day. I know that a friend was spending like 18 hours a day or something like that for the first 7 days, but I'm maybe spending, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours a day, and I've still been able to get over 1,000 total level, as well as grinding towards invention at this point, which is something that's really good to get early on. And knowing all of the stuff that I know now from having maxed on my main main account, you can realise which are the kind of pinnacle upgrades that you should be going towards and kind of working towards, which is always really good. And also, you're starting off with players that have played old school RuneScape and they've maybe not actually played much of RS3, so they're asking questions, they're wanting to get involved in some of the stuff that's on the game. And of course, there are a lot of videos on YouTube. I myself have put out a few kind of videos talking about whether or not this is a good thing for the game and for the main game and being a stable main game. I'm not entirely sure with regards to the market. That is kind of my main concern. But to be honest with you, it's a small kind of price to pay when it comes to the actual benefits that this could potentially bring, because there are a ton of benefits and there's a lot of negativity, I guess. But I don't want to be 100% part of it. There's kind of that thing where you don't want to be too kind of starry-eyed about it, but also talk about that there are some problems, and of course that's what we've done. But this video is kind of talking about the good things, I guess, both good and bad, but overall a good review of, I guess, how it's actually going. And of course, you guys, I'm sure you yourself have actually played quite a bit of Fresh Start Worlds. If you're watching this video, you've may have done, but if you haven't and you're watching it, whether you should actually get involved, I 100% would recommend you getting involved, because there's so many different things that you can do and you can play it however you like. I would actually, if I was to restart Fresh Start Worlds, I'd probably start as an Iron Man, because there's pretty much no point of actually being a normal account, and I hadn't done an Iron Man before, so it was probably a really good idea to actually start one. And unfortunately, I didn't do that. I mean, I could go back now and do it, but maybe that will be a series later on in the future, maybe just playing an Iron Man, but I'm not entirely sure, and we'll kind of see how that goes. But as far as the game itself and the other benefits that you can get from doing this, well, there's tons. Like, even if you were purely a main account player that only plays the standard game, you can earn a ton of money, because the money making methods at the highest levels right now are still earning ridiculous amounts of money, but bonds right now are super cheap. So if you buy your bonds, or you save your money, or you start investing into some of the things that obviously haven't risen in price because there hasn't been the inflation. Remember that Fresh Start World's economy is separate to the main game, at least currently, until they obviously get merged at a later date when Fresh Start Worlds comes to an end and all the accounts get put back into the main game. Then yeah, there's plenty of opportunity for a lot of merchants to come on. They can come in and spend a ton of money on various different items. And of course, if you're earning 5 mil an hour on Fresh Start Worlds, when a bond is worth like, I don't know, 10 mil, you're going to be able to get a bond in 2 hours. Whereas on the main game, if you've only got a money making method that's going to make you 8 mil an hour, you're going to take you like, I don't know, 2 or 3 times that time to be able to buy a bond. So it's a really good time if you're wanting to earn some money to actually jump in purely just for the money itself, so let alone all of the other benefits that you can have. Of course, the higher level account you get, the more accessible that you will be to be able to get all of the money making options. And actually recently I've been grinding through some of the high tier Slayer mobs and getting myself up to at least 99 is what I'm aiming for. We're at, I believe, 70 at this point, so I'll be grinding my way up to 99 as soon as possible. And in that, you're obviously dealing with a lot of mobs. You're getting a lot of low tier loot as well that's going for crazy amounts, because everyone needs a load of seeds. They need all of the fletching supplies. They need all of the crafting supplies and stuff like that. It's in like super high demand right now. So all of the low tier items comparatively to the main game are like ridiculously expensive. So yeah, it's been very interesting to see how the prices of things change dependent on the supply and demand. And that's definitely be something that I've kind of been surprised about with a lot of stuff. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what you guys have to say on the whole economy, and if you've got any ideas as to what you would recommend people to go out and buy, and recommend people to go and purchase, so when the games do finally merge, that they can make a bit of money, or they can maintain the amount of money comparatively in the economies to what it was previous to the merge. Because obviously when it goes into the main game, your 10 mil GP gets devalued, because as soon as they merge, your 10 mil means 10 mil in the main game, not in the Fresh Start World. So you want to make sure that by the end of the Fresh Start Worlds that you've got items, essentially, because when they merge, the items will then go up to the main game value. At least that's what I'm assuming Jagex is going to be doing. I'm not entirely sure. You never know with them, but hopefully that is exactly what will happen. And yeah, I'm going to be investing in my account, buying all of the upgrades that I can, just working towards getting my account to the level at which I feel like I can do enough and kind of push forward in trying to get my max cape, obviously, and getting myself some inverted capes as well that I can transfer to my main account, and getting all of the pets as well, because that's been something that's been slowly ticking away. As you go through all of the skills, you can get obviously the pets, which have their own kind of Fresh Start Worlds tokens, which you can transfer. They're tradable, so you can only trade them once, but you can trade it to your main account if you want to. So that's what I've been kind of saving the tokens up, so I can dish them over to the main and see how they work. But yeah, overall, to kind of summarize the good things, this game is 100% worth playing. I mean, if you play normal RuneScape, there's no reason why you wouldn't just play Fresh Start Worlds at the moment. I can see that some people are kind of miffed that you have to go out and buy membership, which I get. It can be very expensive, especially with the new membership costs of an account like that. And I fully well know that some people just won't be able to afford to do the Fresh Start World and their main account. And that's totally, absolutely fine. If that's the reason why you can't play, then that's obviously down to your own personal situation. But if you have the financial position to do so, and you are wanting to have a new challenge, some new kind of content, or at least content that you haven't done in so long that it's no longer boring, then yes, Fresh Start Worlds is definitely for you. So overall, really happy with the new Fresh Start Worlds event. Obviously, I know some of you will be hating on it. I know some of you will be liking it. And of course, it'd be interesting to see what you think in the comment section down below. You do not have to agree with me. I'm not expecting you to. And there will be some things that maybe I've missed that you really enjoy in particular. And there will definitely be some things that I do not agree with you guys. But there we go. It's all about discussion. And that's what the YouTube channel is about. It's about just talking about RuneScape and hopefully enjoying the game that we all play. Other than that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I hope you'll join me in tomorrow's video where we look through some guides on auras and stuff like that. So that should be, if you're watching this in the future, linked on screen right now. But if you're not, then they'll just be my newest video. Other than that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day once again, and I'll see you there. Goodbye.